A little rumble, a sudden shake. In a part of the world that almost never moves, the ground beneath Johor, Malaysia, started to tremble. So we're going to dive into what exactly caused this string of unexpected quakes and what it might mean for the future.
I mean, think about it. This wasn't just a one-off thing. It was 5 quakes in 5 days. It left pretty much everyone asking the same question. Why here and why all of a sudden? That's what we're here to figure out.
Okay, so here's how it all went down. It kicked off on August 24th with a pretty noticeable magnitude 4.1 quake in Segamat. Just a bit later, a smaller tremor hit near Klong, and then they just kept coming. A 3.2 on the 27th, then a little 2.5 aftershock on the 28th, and it all wrapped up with a 3.4 on the 29th. That's 5 tremors in just 5 days. Now, a series of shakes like that isn't just random. It tells you something is happening deep underground, a bit of geology in action. So the big question is, what exactly got woken up?
Well, the prime suspect is something called the Mersing Fault Zone. And no, this isn't some brand new crack in the Earth's crust. It's actually an ancient fault line that's been quietly sleeping under eastern Johor for a very, very long time. Think of it like a sleeping giant that just got a serious nudge.
So what's powerful enough to nudge a giant? You have to look way off the coast, towards the massive Sunda subduction zone. That's a super active area where tectonic plates are clashing. All the stress and pressure from that megazone travels inland, and it's basically squeezing these older, weaker fault lines, like the Mersing Fault. That pressure is reactivating it, causing these shallow quakes right in the middle of a tectonic plate, which is why they feel so strange and unexpected.
All right, so this was a huge shock for Johor, for sure. But the idea of earthquakes in Malaysia, well, it isn't entirely new. To really get a handle on the risk, we need to zoom out and look at the whole country.
And when you do that, you see it's really a tale of 2 very different places. You've got peninsular Malaysia, where Johor is, sitting on a pretty stable tectonic plate. Yeah, we get the odd minor tremor now and then, but it's mostly quiet. But then you look at East Malaysia, especially Sabah. It's a totally different ballgame. It's way closer to the super active Pacific Ring of Fire, which means stronger, more frequent quakes are just a fact of life over there.
And if you need any reminder of just how serious things can get in Malaysia, this quote says it all. The 2015 Sabah earthquake is this tragic benchmark, a reminder that we can never, ever get complacent about this stuff. That earthquake registered a magnitude of 6.0. Now that is definitely strong enough to cause some major damage, especially in a rugged, mountainous area. But you know, 6.0 is just a number. This is the number that truly matters. 18. 18 people lost their lives that day on Mount Kinabalu. And that's what turned a geological event into a national tragedy. It's exactly why any tremor anywhere in the country is now taken so seriously. So, with the memory of Sabah still so clear, these recent shakes in Johor lead us all to a really critical question about what comes next.
This is it, isn't it? The question on everyone's mind. Could what happened in Sabah happen in Johor? Are these little tremors just a warm-up for something way bigger?
All right, let's look at what the science tells us. The recent quakes, as you can see, were small, topping out around 4.1. But if you dig into the history books, Johor actually felt quakes up to a magnitude 5.4 way back in 1922. But here's the number that makes you pause. Experts believe that the Mersing Fault, while unlikely, could potentially generate a quake as big as a 6.5.
So let's be really clear about what the experts are saying. They all agree a major quake in Johor is a low probability event. It's unlikely. But unlikely is not the same as impossible. The possibility is there, and that alone means we just can't afford to ignore it. Being prepared isn't just a good idea anymore. It's got to be a national priority.
Okay, so if you can't rule out the risk, what do you do about it? Well, you shift your mindset. You move away from panic, and you move toward preparedness. It's all about taking smart, proactive steps.
And you know, this is a team effort. On the official side, the authorities are stepping up their game. They're keeping a close eye on things like gas pipelines, they're beefing up seismic monitoring, and they're remapping fault lines to make sure new buildings are safer. But safety really does start at home, and that's where we all come in, by making emergency plans and getting our own spaces ready.
So, what do you do if the shaking starts? You need to remember 3 simple words: drop, cover, and hold on. Drop to the ground where you are. Get cover under something sturdy like a table or a desk, and hold on tight until the shaking stops. It sounds simple, but this protocol is proven to save lives.
And that emergency kit we talked about, it's not as complicated as it sounds. Just think about the basics: enough water and non-perishable food for a few days, a first aid kit, a flashlight with extra batteries, a whistle to call for help, and maybe copies of important documents in a waterproof bag. Having this stuff ready means you're prepared, not scared.
So we end up right back where we started. The quakes in Johor were, thankfully, small. You could call them a gentle shake, a little notification from the planet. But they were also a huge reminder that the ground we stand on isn't quite as solid as we like to think. And it leaves all of us with one last, really crucial question. Is Malaysia ready for a real wake-up call?